At this point, it's clear that XRP is hitting some insane milestones in addition to breaking some historical records. The CME Group's 4-month recap of XRP futures was one of the most recent accomplishments. Here, we've reached the 4-month mark for XRP futures. The cause of the surge in demand for regulated, trustworthy cryptocurrency products. For a month, 397,000 contracts of XRP and micro XRP futures were traded, with a notional volume of $18.3 billion. The volume was about 213 million per day on average. 6 billion XRP is the equal of this. Once more, this is a stake in futures. This position is not spot-based. I emphasize that due to the ETFs. If a futures contract is gaining this much traction, a lot of people are underestimating the demand that spot-based ETFs will generate. You can clearly see its momentum. You can see that there is a clear demand for XRP. And if a futures contract can generate 6 billion in XRP volume in 4 months, double, triple, or quadruple that amount. We can observe that kind of volume from contracts that are spot-based. And no, I'm not being overly optimistic. Spot-based XRP ETFs aren't ready for this market, in my opinion. Furthermore, I am referring to full-on ETFs rather than our 80% weighted Rex Osprey ETF. In relation to this, we also received some significant updates from Axler, correct? We discussed this a little. Introducing MXRP, a new yield-bearing liquid-staked token that unlocks up to 10% APY for XRP holders and jumpstarts DEFI on the XRP ledger. Now, Axler gave us a thorough explanation of this. We know a great deal more. With the yield-bearing XRP token on the XRP ledger, issued by Midas RWA, under an EU-approved prospectus, this will be a liquid stake. Trust asset managers have implemented delta-neutral strategies, such as Hyperhythm, which has developed with market conditions to offer a strong risk-adjusted XRP yield. It is fully compatible with DeFi across the board with Stroke Finance, XP Market, and Anados Finance, and it targets up to 10% APY denominated in XRP. It is not accessible to individuals in the US or the UK, as well as other restricted jurisdictions. However, I do believe that this will change eventually. However, Ethereum also supplied the blueprint, therefore they are removed from the Ethereum-related events. Thus, ST Ethereum and other liquid-staked tokens made Ethereum the foundation of DEFI. They opened up billions of dollars in new liquidity by powering trade, lending, and new stablecoins. The LSTs on Ethereum now make up millions of dollars in daily on-chain trading volume and moreover $60 billion in TVL. The XRP ledger's catalyst will be MXRP. At this point, it is a big deal when we consider this. Actually, this will open up a lot more possibilities for the XRP ledger. And as we can see, MXRP is already a top pull on the XRP ledger in less than 48 hours. In less than 48 hours, Tyler XRP's MXRP XRP pull rose to the 5th largest position on the XRP ledger. On the XRP ledger, RWAS are beginning to take off, and MXRP is demonstrating just how large this can become. Indeed, this is a huge deal. In addition to this, M. Charlie Rosenthal from Axler gave us yet another significant update. PSA to all of the XRP bulls. The vault is currently at 96% capacity, and a whale made 3 million MXRP, which is worth 8.85 million. I appreciate you taking the time to consider this. Indeed, this took place in a relatively short period of time. This indicates that there is an insane demand for these kinds of things. Furthermore, this isn't an ETF. No, this isn't a contract for futures. Around XRP, there are yield-bearing prospects. Demand for items such as this will always be quite high. I believe that things will only get more heated in the future. As we begin to witness an increasing number of things, such as Flare, launch around the XRP ledger. Flare recently revealed that XRP has enabled quick and effective settlement at scale for more than 10 years. As collateral liquidity and yield in DeFi, FXRP on Flare expands that strength with composability, creating new growth prospects. It's FXRP. It's a lot like what we're witnessing with Axler. Naturally, things have changed somewhat, but F assets are now active on the XRP ledger. Now is the ideal moment. DeFi is now becoming a reality if we consider the momentum at play here and everything that is going on with XRP. It's not only DeFi, though. All right, everything happens at once. ETFs, ETPs, and futures. DeFi, tokenization boom, stablecoin boom, and institutional DeFi. The large banks are beginning to move in. Ripple is beginning to grow the market for XRP. I mean, practically everything occurs at the ideal time. I have now discussed XRP supply shocks. Listen, I know that sometimes things seem too wonderful to be true. Because of everything that is now taking place, XRP will become incredibly valuable. No, it won't take place in a day. No, that won't take place in 7 days. No, it is not going to occur in 30 days. It won't even occur in a year. Yes, exactly. More than a year will pass. However, I want everyone to realize that this is only the beginning. We are going to follow an amazing route that lies ahead of us, and XRP will become quite valuable as a result of this, since all of these items are tied to demand. The other day, I came across a piece from 24-Hour Crypto, and I, referenced it. I even suggested reading this piece if you're not sure that there will be an XRP supply shock at some time. In my opinion, it is unavoidable, particularly when institutional adoption heats up. In this case, consumers are unaware of how little XRP remains after the Ripple liquidity and escrow. We are discussing more than 40%. The amount of XRP in Ripple escrow is 37.3 billion. The liquid Ripple holdings have 3.5 billion. Arthur Brito contributed 1.3 billion, and Chris Larson contributed 2.3 billion. Almost 44.4% of the supply has already been accounted for. Then, you need to consider the institutional actors. Thank you for viewing. Goodbye.